Yes, hear those sounds? Not super pleasant, but reminiscent of the time. This is Blade Runner for the PC, a really underappreciated game that really captured the world of Blade Runner. In some ways better than the original Blade Runner movie in terms of being a detective. I had this game back in the 90s. Never got that far. It's kind of difficult, but I thought it'd be really fun to jump back into it. It's on GOG. It's like $13 Canadian. Early in the 21st century, the Tyrell Corporation advanced robot evolution to the Nexus phase of being virtually identical to human, known as a replicant. The Nexus 6 replicants were superior in strength and agility, and at least equal in intelligence to the genetic engineers who created them. Replicants were used off-world as slave labor in the hazardous exploration and colonization of other planets. After a bloody mutiny by a Nexus 6 combat team in an off-world colony, replicants were declared illegal on Earth under penalty of death. Special Police Squad's Blade Runner units had orders to shoot to kill upon detection any trespassing replicant. This was not called execution. It was called retirement. So we've got some heady sci-fi themes, some sort of like philosophical themes of what is it to live if you are identical to a human, if you have emotions, if you have feelings. Keep in mind this game came out in 1997, uses a lot of pre-rendered backgrounds, some FMV. It's one of my favorite eras of games because of the pre-rendered backgrounds. I found that they made a lot of really interesting choices with the art design. Things had their own look. They felt very, very unique from each other. Here we are.
I'm leaving now.
Lucy, my sweet.
I cleaned out the tiger cage and sorted all the meal bins. So, if it's all right, it's my turn to fix dinner.
Haven't you forgotten something, little one? Just one little thing.
Mr. Runcer, please.
It's been a very long day.
I don't want to.
Now, Lucy, I thought we'd settled this last week. Don't let's forget who pays your salary. We're closed. Come back tomorrow. Wait! I haven't finished with you. I told you, we're closed.
We're not here to buy, little man. We've come to sell.
You can't possibly have anything to interest me. These are extremely rare animals of the highest quality.
What a coincidence. So am I. That is the price for humility.
Please, don't.
And what else might we interest you in today, sir? Perhaps some virtue?
Not my animals, please. I'm begging you.
But what of honor, little man? At what price? Honor.
Oh my God, no! That tiger is the rarest specimen ever seen.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright. The forest of the night.
BR 61661 reports
Wow.
precinct.
How good is the writing in this?
Repeat code 3.
Cinematography.
I was just finishing up my 12 out on patrol when I got the call. Welcome relief considering that the most action I'd seen all night was a schizoid grandmother doing the shimmy in her underwear in the second sector.
I mean, just to like really quickly set up that this guy's sleazy, that these replicants are being used for sex. This guy comes in, he's got this sort of like poetic way of talking and like classical way, so it shows that he has a super high intellect and physicality because he could lift from above. The animals making noise and cutting away.
Code 3. Repeat code 3.
Last time I had a 3 was when some hooker vomited Thunderbird on Bryant's desk, and yours truly led the cleanup crew. Year and a half on the job, it was still the dirtiest work I'd seen. Where's Captain Bryant?
Took a sick day. Got himself a heinous case of ptomaine poisoning. He asked me personally to run the unit in his absence.
Gouza was one of the old-time guys who took their knocks in the streets. He had a friendly way about him, but you didn't want to turn your back on him if you were less than a friend.
Hope you've been enjoying your leisure time, kid, 'cause it's time to take that thumb out of your ass.
Hallelujah.
Don't get too excited. The other Blade Runners are all jammed up. Holden's sucking dinner through a straw. Gaff's working the Tyrell break-in and Steele's working special undercover. Looks like you got this one by default.
You really know how to make a girl feel wanted.
Animal murder done at Runciter Zoological. Probably just be a schizoid glitz, but we got the call. Old man Runciter lost something like 1 billion chinions worth.
10 to 1, this ain't a job for Rep Detect.
You got something better to do? Perfect your French cooking, maybe?
Slumming tonight, Slim?
I thought you were on special assignment.
Wasn't too damn special after I had the suckers out.
What happened?
Couple of fours were masquerading as fibroplast insulators down at Kaiser. I dressed up like a nurse, they never had a chance.
I'll bet. You put them on the machine?
Hell no! There's a beautiful little thing in here called the Magic, and it ain't ever been wrong. You develop it, you got a brilliant career ahead of you.
I'm working on it.
What's Gooza got you doing tonight?
AM at Runciter's.
Animal murder. Oh, those skin jobs got no respect for anything that truly lives and breathes. And that goddamn Eldon Tyrell ought to be zipped into a body bag and flushed into deep space.
Get rid of him, we'd be out of a job.
I think we're all overdue for a little off-road paid vacation. You
Man,
can stop staring at my ass now.
You got eyes in the back of your head?
All you gotta do is ask, Slim.
there's just like, they've already addressed so many different ways of how they think about the
Animal
replicants.
sales was a profitable and prestigious business since most real animals had died out after the Terran War. There were plenty of electric ones, though, powered by rechargeable batteries. No self-respecting human would own one of those frauds.
Interesting. So yeah, we've learned so much about the world, not in an over, like, heavy-handed way, just through the characters talking, their different viewpoints on it, on, like, why they would hate the replicants. I like his point that if we got rid of Tyrell making these replicants, we wouldn't have any jobs. Alright, so we got moving. It's a point and click, as you can see. Goes green, click on it.
What do you know?
About 30 counts of animal murder and 1 of aggravated assault. The shop's been trashed. You ought to see this tiger cub they got in there. It's a goddamn tragedy.
How's old man Runciter holding up?
State of shock. He's been moaning and complaining about his world caving in.
You'd feel the same way if they were your animals. How many perps?
At least 2. Bloody footprints all over the scene.
Must be a delightful sight. Scratches and paint flecks, and I knew what they meant. Unless the city had bought a jet black fire truck, somebody had a big fat traffic ticket coming. Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell, if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high.
Nice. Okay, so Blue gets back into the car, case the people. I really
Canvass
like
the
the visuals.
area. Maybe somebody had his eyes open.
I'm on it.
I mean, they capture the Blade Runner world, but even the polygons on the cutscenes look really good.
Find anything else out here?
Zilcho. Row actions inside. Abstract art. All over the walls and ceiling.
I never did appreciate art.
Acting's pretty good. All right, let's go and check out this new scene. See, I love these pre-rendered scenes with
Judging from the distance between the prints, I was looking for 2 very big men. One dragged his right foot, indicating a possible injury or lameness. The other appeared a lot more controlled, graceful even. Quite a pair.
yeah, great, like, detective insight and dialogue. That stuff's so common now with, I mean, 1 out of 10 shows on TV being
Security
some kind of
camera.
investigating
It'd be a banner
drama.
day if it recorded anything before it was shot out.
I like that it goes green, so, you know, when you're pixel hunting, you at least have some kind of an idea. But, you know, the one drawback of a fixed camera angle is that it's always going to be this angle. But in this kind of game where you want it to be cinematic, the fixed camera angle gives the director of the game some kind of a choice, too, where they're like, they can choose how to show you the game, show you the world. And it also just works so well for something like this, where if you're not moving around really fast, even then, graceful footprints.
Judging from the distance between the prints, I was looking for 2 very... Judging from the distance between the...
About 30 counts of animal murder and 1 of aggravated assault.
Scratches and paint flecks, and I knew what they meant. Unless the city had bought a jet black fire truck, somebody had a big fat traffic ticket coming.
Okay. All right, what else is there? I guess we...
All my animals.
It is a bit of a pixel hunt. It's kind of silly when you're just...
Security camera.
Moving
It'd be
your
a
mouse around, but I
banner
guess
day
that's-
if it recorded anything before it was shot
But I guess
out.
that's you
My precious
having a look around yourself, right, and
She
seeing what
was
would be
my
suspicious.
baby.
McCoy, LPD.
I'm absolutely certain Lucy Devlin was involved in this heinous act. She's the young girl who works for me.
She's responsible for all this mayhem?
No, of course not. It was two men acting in concert with her, obviously.
Obviously. What'd they look like?
Big and scary and absolutely malevolent.
I thought that one guy looked like a sort of a version of Adam Jensen or J.C. Denton.
Can you think of anything they might have been after?
First, I thought they wanted money, but I don't keep any in the shop. Then I thought they wanted to steal my animals, but they started executing them.
Could they have been replicants?
Who else would be capable of such barbaric acts?
All right, what do we see that sticks out? Also, when you have something, when the background is pre-rendered, the polygons tend to stick out more, right? You would think. Like, there you go, these kind of stick up a bit.
Big caliber, possibly off-world combat weaponry. Ballistics might give me a fix on it.
My precious one. She was my baby.
Which one, the tiger or Lucy? You wouldn't treat your tiger like you treated her. So Lucy wasn't a replicant. She's just like a young sort of street kid trying to make it through. Getting maybe... They don't really mention what this guy's going to do, but it doesn't sound good. Right? But then it was so satisfying to see him get it. All right. Is
My
this
precious one.
the only angle around
She
here?
was my baby.
It's going to fire. Whoa. Yes. Anything? Let's see. What else do we got in here?
I'm ruined. Totally ruined.
You ever do any business with the replicant manufacturers, Tyrell Corporation?
I resent that accusation.
Just wondering.
Officer, last May I personally sold Governor Colvig an exquisite Bergeron coat. I have been a guest at his house on 3 separate occasions. Do I look like I need to carry artificial product?
There's another thing here that I was recommended to do. So you have these different responses. So if you wanted to press escape and go into this menu every time, that would be really annoying. To be surly, erratic, normal, polite. But you can just go use your choice, and then I think we should save it too. Old school. So is that going to change? There we go. Lucy and Doug.
Tell me about this Lucy.
There's not a lot I can tell you. She's only worked for me for about a month. She's about 14 years old with pink hair. A very attractive young thing.
How'd you find her?
She came to me with a reference from Ogilvy's in the Northwest Zone. And he's a very reputable wholesaler.
You treat her well?
As well as any young tot should be treated.
She got a desk? Or someplace where she worked?
She used to eat over there.
Man, how good is this? This is so good. How come I haven't brought this game back up until now? Yes. Look at that. Something shiny.
A toy dog.
Toy dog. Oh, I see.
A candy bar. Yuck. Howie Lee's in Chinatown. I'd eaten there myself.
Howie Lee's candy bar. Toy dog.
Well, isn't that cute?
I feel like they just gave him a big list. Here's all the items you need to... Your character's going to say. Can you read them all right now? Can we just pay you for an hour? Howie Lee's candy bar. Toy dog. All right. I wonder if this is going to be one of those games where they...
Well, isn't that cute? Well, isn't that cute? Well, isn't that cute?
He sounds familiar. I like that you have to draw your gun. Gives it a bit of an action feel.
See if you can dig up that reference from Ogilvy's.
Yes, it's somewhere here. Just a moment.
Apparently this is like was, from what I remember reading about it, it was supposed to be like a real-time detective game where other Blade Runners were working on cases at the same time and things were kind of moving along.
My precious one. She was my baby.
He was my baby. All right, Mr. Drama.
It didn't add up. Animal murders, the lack of any theft, the small animals alone were worth a good chunk of change on the street. It seemed more like an act of vengeance.
What'd you find, Copper?
Find anything else out here?
This woman says she saw that kid who worked for Runciter hanging around with a big fat guy last week.
This guy's a good actor.
Find anything else out here?
This guy lives across the street. Says he heard a crash late last night. Looked out his window and saw a black sedan speeding away from the scene.
Find anything else out here?
Zilcho. Row actions inside. Abstract art. All over the walls and ceiling.
Okay. Let's get out of here. Well, we should go to that Chinese restaurant. Wow, I love the rain, the ambiance, the neon. What do we got here? What's this? Police station. Apartment. Animals. Chinatown. I right-clicked on that and it took off. Oof, cool, look at these awesome cutscenes in between. Wow, looks good. Well, here we are.
Real sushi was a luxury reserved only for the elite, since most sea life had become radioactive after the Third Terran War. The rest of us had to eat new sushi, soya mixed with off-world lichen.
Off-world lichen. How's that?
McCoy, LPD, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sorry, my man. I just don't got the time. Got to mix more out back.
Big guy. Big guy. Hey, big guy.
Howie says you're a master chef.
You not come back here. Air bad.
This'll only take a minute.
Lucy.
I'm looking for a girl, about 14 years old with pink hair. You seen her?
I don't know her.
Doesn't sound suspicious.
Stick around. I might want to talk to you later.
Okay. Ah, man, look at these beautiful scenes. They just have such a uniqueness, you know? Where it's whatever the artist wants to draw, rather than what can the game engine do that everyone's using. What can Unreal Engine and...
Are you taking any drugs?
Yeah, look at this guy making some fake sushi.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
When business thriving, night always beautiful.
How long has that chef worked for you?
Zuben? Just month. Superior chef makes all kinds of new sushi.
What's real fresh tonight?
Special shipment of Toro just arrived. I fix you right up. No one else. Clean as a whistle.
You're Prince, Howie. This from your place, isn't it?
Could be. Chopstick come from Yoshi's restaurant supply.
See you later, Howie.
Anyone else to interact with?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
It makes it feel a little more alive when you have these different characters walking by that you can talk to that you might not talk to at that moment.
Excuse me, pal.
Yeah, they'll talk to you later.
I need to ask you... Are you taking any drugs? Does this badge mean anything to you? You got anything that's a match for these?
Oh, it's kind of a little corny.
Stick around. I might want to talk to you later.
Interesting. guess that's it. Let's get out of here. Okay, maybe we could just do something down here. A new life awaits you off-world. Who wouldn't want that in a place like this? Cruise. Oh, that looks so good.
Lockup. Roof. Laboratory. Mainframe and shooting ground floor. Lockup.
Starting.
Got anything new for me, Dino?
I was wondering when you'd show your mug around here, McCoy. The shell casings from Runciter should be in the Museum of Military History.
How's that?
They're from an Ender rifle. It's standard issue off-world military hardware. Heavy caliber. That puppy can punch right through a tank.
What can I conclude from that?
Whoever used this piece didn't just walk into their local sporting goods store and buy it. Those babies are collectibles, and they ain't cheap.
Interesting. Using a unique weapon, not smart. Not smart, buddy boy. Gotta use the common stuff that anyone could use, that you can't trace.
The Tyrell Corporation today recalled the last 4 functioning entertainment model Nexus 5 replicants from off-world service. Dr. Eldon Tyrell, speaking at a shareholders meeting, denied allegations that the model was defective and possibly dangerous.
The simple fact is that the model wasn't performing its designated function.
Old copies of case files, notices, and memos. The usual station junk.
Okay, where do we go now?
Well, if it ain't Ray McCoy! Brian finally letting you play with the big boys.
My clearance come through?
You bet. You bring your piece?
Don't leave home without it.
Steele's been running the maze every other day for 2 weeks, and the targets are getting a little roughed up.
I thought Gouza was going to requisition some new ones.
I ain't seen him down here in a month. Guess he's been busy.
Poor guy. I bet he gets all tuckered out from pushing those papers around.
And don't sell him short, McCoy. Gouza could be one tough hombre. I remember when we worked mice together. He poured acetone on 2 pimps that gave us some lip and lit a match. I'll tell you, it looked like the goddamn 4th of July out there.
Peachy.
Okay, that's crazy. Alright, this is the gun range?
Hit the lock, Jack.
I guess there ain't no harm in it.
Okay, little combat.
Target and shoot all threats. Do not shoot innocents. Confirm target as hostile before shooting.
You got it, Jack. Yellow. Oh, that person shot me? That was hurt. Is that a baby or a gun? Ha! That's a baby, I think. A rocket launcher. Got it. Let's go. Must be more. Just let me out of here. Where's the baby? I see. Oh, I basically see them as babies. Close up. Alright. Took a little bit more time than I wanted getting out of there. Clues. Enhance. Enhance. Okay, what do we got? What do we got here? Esper. This button, this button, this button. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing here. Click, 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 click. This guy. This one. This one. I don't know. Tab. What are you supposed to do here? Alright, I took a 3-hour break to go for a walk. Now it's a much moodier nighttime experience. You have to click the computer on the right here, and that uploads and downloads. So we've just got our photo on here to check out. Where is it? Is it there? I don't see a bloody photo, do you? What the fuck? I guess we don't have a photo. Yeah? That yellow thing comes out? Now what? Pixel hunting. Nope. Uploading personal. Let's take a look at our inventory. What do we got here? No photo. Animal murder. Yeah, well, how would we get the photo, right? We need to probably get a photo. Let's go try to find one. Alright. I think we missed something here. So.
Find something?
A little more film.
Piece of chrome.
From a car?
No, I think it's horse chrome. Bag it and tag it.
Because I think we have to use that photo machine, so we need a photo of some kind.
Find anything else out here?
Zilcho. Row actions inside. Abstract art. All over the walls and ceiling.
Nothing from them. Zilcho, everything's inside.
Interesting. Nothing even remote I was going to root.
Okay, let's go back in here.
I already checked for a crowbar, some kind of tool. No luck, but it looks like we've got some latents.
Make sure the lab boys run them through the mainframe, human and rep.
Okay, there we go. That sounds like we've got some more prints, possibly.
Stick around. I may not be finished with you.
To me, that sounds like...
You got any discs from that camera?
There we go.
It's irrelevant. Those murderers also destroyed the camera. Thousands of Jinyens worth.
Maybe it photographed them before they shot it out.
I guess you've got a point at that.
So this is one of those games where you gotta click on things, possibly a few times. Because at first he said, camera, probably not gonna work. And now we see that it will.
I believe this is the disc from last night.
Peachy.
That's probably it.
Stick around. I may not be finished with you.
Maybe not. Feels like it. Alright, let's go back to the station. Try the photo out. Alright, let's get that photo.
Uploading personal clue database.
The disk.
Downloading mainframe clue database.
Looks like the photo on that screen
Clue
is changed.
database transfer complete.
Oh, it just always does that. Photo? Disk?
Scanning video disk.
Here we go.
2 enhanceable images found. Adding enhanceable photographs to Kaya database. Run sitter crime scene.
Alright. What can we enhance? So you kind of go like this. Look at those polygons. Oh, it smooths it out. What's he reading? Monker. So if you've ever seen the Blade Runner movie with Harrison Ford, there's a very long scene with him in his apartment, smoky apartment, and he's just staring at these photos, and he's enhancing, he's going in, he's going out. I think he finds something in the reflection, or a woman. That's how he tracks the next replicant. Is that something? It's a bit of a notorious scene for being slightly boring. I thought it was pretty interesting because like the technology is really interesting, but it's a lot of Harrison Ford just sitting there going, enhance, enhance. There we go. Wow.
Hello there, Lucy. Give me a hard copy of that.
Give me a hard copy of that. That's what you want to hear him say. So it seems like when he has something, he will cycle in and around. It'll almost like change direction, which is pretty interesting that they can do that. That's the sci-fi part of it, right? What is this? I think nothing. What's in this cage over here? Probably nothing. What is it? A bunny? Just a bunny. Makes you appreciate all the little animals you might see outside your house. Oh, a monkey. I was watching a guy on Reddit holding out some kind of cracker. He's like up on the top of a roof, and a monkey crosses over these like 2 building rooftops to get to the cracker, and then the monkey drops it, notices at his phone, looks up at the human, and sort of screams at him and comes after him. Monkeys are scary. I think they can be very... I would not trust a monkey, especially around my cat. There we go. What's that?
A sushi menu from Howie Lee's. Give me a hard copy of that.
Give me a hard copy of that. Give me a hard copy of that. All right. Will be well, I know so well. Okay. I've got a little walkthrough to help me. These games can be kind of frustrating. It says like focus on her ankle, and you'll find some kind of a butterfly thing. How would I have found that from up here? Like, how would I have noticed that?
It's
pretty
some
cool.
kind of insect. Give me a hard copy of that.
Mm-hmm. Is this it? Okay, Lucy in the middle of the scene. Focus on her ankle. Check the back of the room on her desk. Looking at the second photo. Okay. There we go.
Run sitter, crime scene.
I love that sort of like old 80s click, 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 that real analog sound. Whoa, look at these fucks. Creepy. He looks so much like Adam
He looks
Jensen.
familiar. Give me a hard copy of that.
He does look familiar. Who's this guy? A car. You fools.
A black ground car. Looks like it's been around the block a few times. Give me a hard copy of that.
Can we get a license plate? All right.
A black ground car. Looks like it's been around the block a few times.
A ground car. Oh, so you can't zoom in anymore once you're here. But if you back out once, it does this whole way. So what if you just do right there? Oh, cool. It's moving differently. There we go. That's pretty cool.
Local license plate. Give me a hard copy of that.
Do you want me to record more versions of Give Me a Hard Copy of that? Nope. One's fine. Highlight just the trunk. Highlight the back of the sedan, the backlights and license plate. Highlight just the trunk. You got it. Sure. That'll be a little different. It'll be the first one that I got. Oh wow, so there's like 3 different ways you can... Oh, it didn't do anything. You know you got a good one that goes out and then back in again. No. This will give Roy a total of 6 photos.
A black ground car. Looks like it's been around the block a few times.
All right. So we found... What did we find so far? We found Lucy. Just to the right. Yes. Ankle. Desk. Clue. Clovis. The backlights and the license plate. And the trunk without the license plate. Okay. Should be it. All right.
Uploading personal clue database.
So let's see these hard copies.
Mainframe clue database. Clue database transfer complete.
1997 this game came out. I think pretty impressive for the time. Especially the cutscene CGI is really nice. Roche. Where are the photos? Suspect. Zubin. Lucy. Okay. Where do you find all the photos? Log forward. Log back. Your clue database. Can you just go photos? Photographs. Oh, I see. So you can like unclick this stuff. Photos. Animal murder suspect. Car color and make.
It's some kind of insect.
Lucy. Partial license. There we go.
Howie Lee's. Bryant once got food poisoning there, so he shut it down for a couple of months. Now it was always good for a freebie.
All right. Making good progress. Up we go. They say go to the 3rd floor.
Laboratory.
Talk to Dino. Gives you some good information on run-sitters.
Anything else?
We got the animal corpses from run-sitters, but there wasn't a whole lot to work with.
Bone marrow?
About 50% were real, the rest were fakes.
So, Runsitter was ripping his customers off.
State-of-the-art fakes. Miles beyond the crap you see on Animoid Row.
The kind that comes from legit manufacturers?
And they're the ones that usually produce the quality.
What about the wounds?
Most of them were shot point blank, but we're looking at some others. Sloppy cuts with a knife, like the perp was really pissed off at something.
Butcher knife?
Could be, but who cuts meat anymore?
Nice bunch of reps I'm tailing. Hope you're not pulling a meat cleaver out of my back next week.
What I like about the Blade Runner world is the way they set up that these replicants are really, really dangerous. The way that they said, you know, the last replicant that was working the job is eaten through a straw. Which sets up, you know, the final battle, the first Blade Runner, where Roy Batty's
Anything else?
Strong.
That black
terrifying.
paint you found on the fire hydrant, it's from a ground car.
You sure?
The angle of impact was almost head-on. And there ain't too many spinning drivers klutzy enough to smack a street-level hydrant in VTOL mode.
I heard your wife got her license back.
You're a real funny guy, McCoy.
Anything else?
That piece of chrome you found outside of Runsitter's is from a...
Nice set of wheels.
It's okay, not what I call a classic.
Anything else?
Zip, man.
All right. Sounds good. Now we can go back to Chinatown. I love these scenes. How we leave? Like, how cool is that ambient sound? I know most of it's just taken from the movie, but they just do such a good job of it, you know? Sort of like how they did Alien Isolation. That was a really nice homage to the movies, that universe.
You're a pretty smart-looking cat. You want to make some money?
Pay me large, you got my rapt attention.
Depends on how much the information's worth.
Unfortunately, my man, I got a book. Dynamite dining, old man. Catch you later.
Excuse me, pal. Excuse me, pal.
That works.
Does this girl ever eat around here?
Nah, all gaijin look like you, old man.
This from your place, isn't it?
Yes, sir. You do Howie favor? Distribute all through our police station?
There's a test I'd like you to take. It won't take too long.
Test? What kind of test?
Kind of a personality test. Totally routine.
Routine? Ah.
Oh! Dives out of the way. Go, 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 go. You don't expect to see this kind of action, you know, in a
Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell,
this guy.
if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high.
What are you doing? Look at this guy. Good buddy. Talk to him. Why is this guy not talking? He's green. Chase him, I guess. I know where the blue arrows are. My police instincts. I just love that 80s synth. This was before it was super overused. Oh! Should I not have killed him? I don't know what kind of game this is. Is it like a... You know, is it like you could choose how to... Could I have shot him in the leg? I don't know. Okay.
Lightning Squad, Rep Unit, Battle of the Gemini. I'd retired a war hero, someone who'd fought for the freedom of the off-world colonists. The poor guy kind of reminded me of one of those Buffalo Soldiers, blacks who had killed and died for America, yet weren't allowed to drink alongside whites. And maybe, just maybe, the photograph validated his own existence. I've gotten all I can from that.
One photo?
I've gotten all I can from that.
Okay, well,
I've gotten all I can from that.
Wow, sweet. That's fun.
Locked.
So I just leave the body here and that's it? Nothing else? The cop showed up. Hey! Good time.
Chill it, man. Just took a wrong turn back there, that's all.
Take your business elsewhere.
An excellent idea.
No, we want to talk to this guy. You fool. Who's this guy?
Rumor has it you've been earning your stripes, McCoy.
Working on it.
Keep it up. You just might have a future in this business.
I understand it's got a hell of a retirement plan.
I checked with UN Air. Looks your rep swung that moonbus massacre last month.
They ever find the moonbus?
Disappeared into thin air. Ryan thinks it crashed out into Kipple.
How many reps we talking about?
Enough. They're Nexus 6s, so don't take too much slack.
Gotcha.
You VK the mark before retirement?
Didn't have to.
That's why they call it the magic.
I'm starting to understand.
You ever retire a human, your career is over. Remember that.
I mean, so much of what makes this game, this writing interesting is built into the novels that Philip Dick, whoever did it, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, had based and what was used in the movie. But they still do a really good job of taking those best lines and in some ways translating it over better than the movies had done. It's already more action. Okay. That's exciting. I wasn't expecting that kind of action in this game. You know? I just thought it was going to be walk around, clip things.
See you later, Howie.
Oh, okay. I guess we go back to the police place? Okay. Did I miss anything there? Oh, wait a second. It says we can find a license plate here. How did you know to do that? So we dig around in the alley. Oh yeah, there was a garbage can we were in before. Is this an alley here? Yes, where it came from. I love the way the camera moves in like that. There you go. Makes sense. So apparently this guide is saying that when the guy was coming towards us, we could have put the gun away and the guy with the knife would have just ran. And then you could have decided later if you still wanted to go retire him. So there's lots of cool branching paths and decisions. So this is his apartment. In we go. I'm sure it'll look exactly like Deckard's.
Your floor number, please.
Roof. Apartments. Ground floor.
McCoy, 88F.
88. Thank you.
I just love that really big tactile feel of all the sets. You know, and that's from Ridley Scott, of course.
The best gal I'd ever seen. She was 2 now and full of life and love. She'd cost me about a year's salary, but she was worth it. It was good to have someone warm nearby after completing a dirty job, and the retirement swag from this case would go toward getting her a partner.
Wow. You would think that, I guess, for like dogs to mate would be... Would they neuter them and spay them so that only the rich could sell them? Or would anybody think people would be breeding them like crazy?
Here you go, baby. Dinner time.
Okay, so we can do our research here. What else can we do in here?
Here you go, baby. Dinner time. Here you go, baby. Dinner time.
Okay. Pretty big apartment.
Zubin was the first Nexus 6 I'd come up against. There was something in his eyes, an almost primordial desire to live. Most of the 3s, 4s, and 5s I'd seen would just give up when you had them. But these 6s, they were a whole other breed.
Interesting. Isn't that so cool how they do what I'm assuming is probably... So you have like a pre-rendered background, but then the FMV of the lights, and music kicking in, the narration, this red light bathing the side, and then the FMV of that ship going through. Sky car, whatever they call it. Oh man, the camera moves. Like you can tell such a story with the fixed camera angle and the camera movement.
I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath. My wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told my wrath. My wrath did grow.
Crank calls were a dime a dozen in this city, and I'd had my share. Still, this guy sounded more like an English teacher than the average scumbag. If I'd been more awake, the message might have spooked me.
Erase and reset.
What's that guy? How does he have our number? How does he know to come after us?
Portrait of the sleep-deprived. Got your delivery here, man.
What?
Kingston Kitchen.
Oh, yes, right. Hold on.
Is this what the gravity be like on Mars?
Oh, no. It's about a third of what we got here on Terra. Real comfy. How about turning that dial, okay? When I say... Oh!
please. Can you control your rat?
I'll have you know that Ricky's a purebred Chihuahua, and he's totally real.
Things going good at Tyrell Corporation?
Boring. Old man Tyrell's been on a Wagner kick lately. He never shuts up.
You also do outside work?
Sweetie, I never go outside. It's bad for the glands.
How about Nexus 6? You know a lot about them?
I think you should be going now.
Understand good, it holds deep meaning for me now. Where be your research on Nexus 6? And your test studies, contacts, the works.
Only simulator! Extraterrestrial gravity!
One more minute, you be swallowing this explosive. 3 more minutes, they be hosing you off the True Life building across town.
No, I swear, I don't have anything. If I did, I'd give it to you.
My people sick and dying. You tell me something.
Talk to Dr. Tyrell.
Tell me something I don't know.
The organ designers, Miraji, Hannibal Chu, Luther and Lance, they're closer to him than I am.
Where?
DNA Row. They're all working down on DNA Row. No.
You one miserable package, man.
No, please, don't.
Wow. Great acting.
Pick up. Hope you aren't camped out there with a bottle of tequila.
Oh, very funny.
Early bird slays the worm, McCoy.
Don't worry, I'm up, Lieutenant. What's the buzz?
One of Tyrell's employees got his fat face splattered all over the marble interior of the Tyrell building.
Inside?
That's right. But we also got a sweet little break on it. Tyrell surveillance system recorded the whole shebang.
Beautiful. How many perps?
Just one. I don't know if it's related to the Runciter deal or not. Tyrell security will have the disc for you when you get there. You'll be good, killer.
Well, I guess really doing an impression of the original police chief. But the acting is great, the writing's great. You get a real sense of danger with them, and there's like a constant movement and stakes. And the idea of them being in this sort of anti-gravity chamber, I don't remember that from the original movie. So while they are taking a lot of the best bits from the movie and probably the book,
Your floor
it's all
number,
pretty well
please.
done. Where that's the idea they had. That's pretty good. The idea that like a fat person will want to pay to not have to walk and just float, just have all your devices around you and food or whatever you want. And to describe Mars as being so comfy and having, again, this expensive dog that you say is real. And kind of that idea where people are always questioning what is real and what isn't. Tyrell building, I guess we're going to go there. Cool, already we're going there. This game moves along pretty fast. Yes. This has got to be one of the best movie adaptation games ever made.
McCoy, LPD.
Just a minute.
Where do I go?
Grav test on the east wing, 66th floor. Here's the footage from the security cameras. You get a pretty good look at the man's face.
How'd he get past you guys?
He pretended to be a delivery man. Dr. Eisenduller ordered in a lot, so it didn't seem unusual.
I may have more questions for you later on.
Yes, sir.
I mean, look at the total decadence of this, the height of it. You know, the water just, as opposed to the constant rain outside that's unavoidable and seems kind of dirty. This is controlled, but still tons of it. Gold everywhere. Very, very Art Deco in a time where you want your money to show the decadence and the wealth. Whoa, wow. What a beautiful set. Looky here.
The earring was shaped like an insect. I didn't know much about jewelry, but it looked like junk to me, like the cheap crap sold at the stands and shops of Anemoid Row.
All right. What else we got here? Bunch of junk. Oh, polygons.
It was a Tyrell
Pixels.
sales brochure for the Nexus series, the kind of glossy hype that ends up littering the floor at trade shows. This one was for the new entertainment model, a comedian designed to entertain the troops off-world. Someone had tried to access a bunch of protected files on the Tyrell network and failed, not just once, but a dozen times. Tyrell engineers might forget their passwords, but what would the GravLab boys need with replicant DNA sequences and incept dates?
So it's these replicants are trying to figure out their past, trying to find out everything about themselves before they die.
I couldn't even begin to guess what Eisendaller's password was.
Chihuahua.
Jesus.
I've seen worse, but not by much.
Learn anything?
You could strain him through a sieve.
Obviously, he'd been killed with an explosive, and not just because he'd been plastered on the wall with 1,000 strokes. The detonator wire I pulled out of his skull told the whole story. The killer was an expert. The charge had been big enough to do the job, but not big enough to shatter the soundproof walls of the float chamber. But I wondered why the killer didn't just shoot him.
Did shoot him, but why not just shoot him? What do we got here? Some of his gits?
I'd seen more dead animals than live ones in the last 24 hours, and now it was dogs. 3 of them. I thought about Maggie and nearly threw up.
And then took a picture. So what are these guys? Pixels? Voxels?
The dog collar has a name on it. Ricky, maybe? I'd seen more dead animals than live ones in the last 24 hours, and now it was... I thought about
3 pieces of this dog. I hate chihuahuas. Still, I don't want to see any dog get blown up.
Disgusting. This earring yours?
Maybe it belonged to that other cop who was up here. The babe with the shades and the cigarettes.
Ain't her style. Call her babe to her face, you're liable to end up with a severe limp.
I think that's it. Alright, dog's name is Ricky.
Eisendaller had used his dog's name as a password. The Tyrell brass wouldn't be too happy if they knew I was snagging a copy of their files, but someone had wanted them bad enough to kill Eisendaller, so I figured they must be worth having.
Nice. So I wonder if it's going to be the Tyrell from the movies.
Lagging behind again?
Guza didn't say anything about me working with a partner.
Oh, in a pig's ass, Slim. No, I'm following up on my own. Could be it's linked to this Tyrell debacle.
How's yours connected to mine?
I'm still fitting the pieces together. You know the Moonbus massacre that went down last month?
Gaff mentioned something about it.
The rogue skin jobs probably flew to Earth. And one of them is a demolitions expert, similar MO to your Vic upstairs.
Hell of a coincidence.
I'll call you if I find out anything more about your case.
Nice. So apparently that's the real-time aspect of it, I think, where you could have maybe came here before and she would have showed up. That's why there's some of that dialogue, I think, where she goes, you're behind. I think like when you talk to the detective and he says, I've seen your handiwork, you're doing well. The guy we saw outside after we shot the Asian. So he might have had a different piece of dialogue if we had the big fat Asian guy go. Alright, what do we gotta do here? We went to the lab. Sure. Security guard. Okay. And then we head back. We don't get to meet Tyrell just yet.
You friendly with Eisendaller?
Most of the employees I see coming in morning and night, but old Marcus, Dr. Eisendaller, he almost never left his lab.
He afraid of somebody?
I think it had something to do with the air outside, and the germs. I once heard him complain about it.
Smart. What was his job?
Grub test chief engineer. The lab runs tests to see how a replicant would perform in different planetary gravitational fields. That kind of thing. One of the other engineers could tell you more.
You know if anyone lost an earring like this one lately?
Not one of the employees, that's for sure. The boss enforces a strict dress code around here.
How did Eisendoller's moo-moo fit in?
Hey, you know, company rules only apply to the lesser mortals.
How do I get in to see the big boss?
You don't, unless he wants to see you.
Okay. How do I make him want to see me?
Well, you could call his personal assistant.
Who is?
Don't know offhand.
Yeah, I get the picture. You know anything about Tyrell's computer system?
Security's tight as a drum, if that's what you're asking.
Somebody tried to access restricted data from the terminal in Dr. Eisendoller's office.
But they couldn't get in.
Yeah. Looks like Dr. Tyrell keeps his files safer than he keeps his employees.
Awesome. Well, we're going to head back to police headquarters and do some more Esprit stuff. See you in the next episode. Bye.